Thank you for being here, Mr. Shou. I'm really concerned about everything that we are hearing in this conversation today, and I appreciate your good intentions, but the actions are really falling short. As a pediatrician and the parent of a teenager, I'm particularly concerned about how social media generally, and TikTok specifically, is affecting our kids and teens. We just heard a lot about this from testimony from a psychologist. Last year, the American Academy of Pediatrics sounded the alarm about our children's mental health crisis. And as a pediatrician, I know this has been going on for more than a decade. In fact, it tracks perfectly with social media engagement. And during the pandemic, teens who are missing out on in-person interactions turned even more to social media to connect with friends. Social media is designed to be addicting. That's the business model. And your platform is the most addictive of all. And this endless, mindless scrolling takes teens away from human relationships. And here's what's important. It keeps teens awake all night, well past their bedtime, at a time in their lives when sleep is critical for brain and physical development. In fact, sleep deprivation alone, ignoring even content alone, can cause depression, anxiety, social withdrawal, inattention, poor coping skills, and academic failure. So, Mr. Shou, I just want to follow up a little bit on what my colleague, Mr. Sarbanes, was discussing. It is your business model to keep eyes on the app, to keep it addictive. I know you likely have experts who have advised you on how to design this to keep those eyes on your platform for the longest possible time. So I want to know if you have psychologists or other health experts on staff looking at screen time, hours of use, and sleep.
We worked with the Digital Wellness Lab, Congresswoman, and at the Boston Children's Hospital, and we came up with a 60-minute default limit for any users under 18. We were the first to do it in our industry.
That is an opt-out, and I can tell you, they're going to immediately opt out. It is addictive. It's
we
like
also give tools.
Asking a chain smoker not to take the next cigarette. It is not going to happen. And by the way, so first I have a question, then I'll go back to Boston Children's. Mr. Sarbanes asked earlier, what is the percentage of teens who actually adhere to the 60-minute limit?
I would need to check on those numbers and get back to you on specifics.
I'd appreciate those numbers.
Yes.
I'm guessing it is an incredibly low percentage who actually heed that. Now, as far as Boston Children's goes, I know you're referring to them as a source for these ideas about go outside, get some air, take some time out. But I can tell you as a pediatrician, I'm guessing their suggestions were a little stronger than that. And so I'm wondering what is the next step? What are you doing when you find out that almost nobody is really opting out after 60 minutes to take this burden off of the kids and off of the parents and change your algorithms to make them not so hooked?
We give our parents, as you pointed out, the family pairing tool. And in that tool, if you pair it with your teenager's phone, you can actually set a restriction, how many minutes. And we believe it's very important for parents to have these conversations with their teenagers so to decide what's best for their family. I also, Congresswoman, a lot of people come to our platform to have a really informative experience. Like I said, there were 116 billion pieces of content on STEM. And we're creating a feed dedicated to that. Book Talk has 115 billion.
We've also heard today that well over 20% of the information is misinformation. We heard that about medical remedies that are not really remedies. We've heard it about mental health topics. I mean, this becomes very dangerous, especially when people who are not trained to think very critically are being given information and thinking that it's true. And you've said many times that the destructive information isn't available to kids, but it is. Like, we keep seeing examples here. And so I'm just wondering, what are you going to do with the algorithms? I mean, just because you're removing something that says anorexia, bulimia, or eating disorder, that doesn't do it. If you show girls repeatedly skinny bodies and advice on how to cook meals that are less than 300 calories, that's dangerous.
We have worked with, first of all, anything that glorifies eating disorders, we remove that from our platform. It's violative. We're working with experts now. It's a challenging problem for our industry, but we are actually identifying some of these themes that you're talking about and trying to build models where that kind of content is not chained up for the younger users. So it's something we take very seriously too.
We're seeing eating disorders in elementary age kids now, and I need you to expedite that process as much as possible because parents out there are worried, and I'm worried as a pediatrician. Parents can't take themselves off of these platforms. Kids, there's no way they're going to take themselves off, and we need you to do your part. It may affect your bottom line, but it could save this generation.
I share your concerns and I commit to
Yield
doing
back.
more.